Good afternoon. Welcome to the panel discussion. The topic is coexisting with AI. Will expert adapt or lead? And we have our panelists here. Let's welcome them one by one. Everyone here, because we talk about AI, so every panelist here has experience related to things like related to AI. First is Donghee. He's the steering council C Python this year, and also he works for the Carrot as a ML lead software engineer. And second one is Tika. I think if you listen to the keynote this morning, Tika is holds a PhD of CS in Harvard and with expertise in sports science with AI. And Sebastian, I don't think I need to introduce it for the people watch this from the internet. So Sebastian is a very famous open source developer for probably the most popular one called Fast API and other open source solutions as well. And he definitely has expertise in open source, plus also with product experience in machine learning. And finally is YC. YC is a senior manager at MediaTek. So YC is our Taiwan industry representative here with expertise also in machine learning. Okay. Before I start this panel, I have some announcements. Firstly, is that depending on the progress of the discussion, we may open the floor for live questions. And we also have the Slido, so you can also ask questions there. And the session is being experimentally recorded and will consider be put in our podcast later. Okay, I only have one thing to project for this entire panel discussion, and I already showed this on the screen. What this shows here is the software job posting on Indeed in the US. And you can see the index of the baseline is the 2020's job posting in US. And right now the number is basically all-time low since roughly 2024. And so the data basically speaks itself. It's clear like the number of the software engineering roles has declined consistently. The area of the traditional general hires is impacted. So I'm sure many of you here could have some worry and anxiety on this trending, at least I am. And so if you were in the lunchtime, you probably also listened, you watched the speaker night. We record a video about the experts, different speakers' thoughts in AI. And so today, I think I speak too much now. For all of you here, I want to maybe, the first question is very simple, so please answer this one by one. Based on your expertise, how would you advise people who are looking into the job market now?
Yeah, very difficult question. So my answer will be like, if you define, what's your define of the software engineer role? Like if you define that the software engineer is handling Linux kernel or malloc locator, I think that it's true that that kind of position is decreased. But if you expand that the domain defining of software engineer to the product itself, I think that it still have a lot of chance to you can contribute. So I think that this era is changing very rapidly. Like in the past, like maybe 60% of people are contribute to developing the product itself, and rest of people developing the low-level system. But like it's expanded, like maybe 80 or 90% of people can contribute to overall product, and we just need maybe 10% to develop the low-level system. And so I think that we have to change the define of what we should do. So that's my answer for this catch.
There's a button to talk.
test. Okay, that's a really, really comprehensive answer. I'm gonna write on that. So I feel like before, maybe because there's a huge demand in software development, so anyone who has the software development coding skill can get a good job, likely. But right now, because it's more competitive, I think this is the time where people show more personality and creativity. So, for example, you need to ask yourself, what industry are you more interested in, and showcase your talent or your ambition in that industry. So when you do the job interview, it's not just showing, oh, I know how to code the front end, back end, but more like, I'm interested in this area. I have done some project portfolio to showcase my skill and passion, and I am interested in developing my career long term in this area. So if you find your passion and try to think a little bit bigger than just the coding skill, I think the opportunity is still there. So it's kind of resonating to what Donkey said, like thinking about the product, about the industry domain, not just the technical skill itself.
Now it's very difficult for me to say anything else because you already said everything. I will say that, also very related to that, I think it's super important to focus on a problem. And it's very important if the problem is important to you and a problem that you care about. And I think it's very related to that of something that is close to your passion. Because if you are focusing on a specific problem that you want to solve, it doesn't matter if it's, it's not like, are you doing AI or not, or are you doing front end or infrastructure or whatever. You can figure out what are the skills and the tools that you need to be able to use to be able to solve that specific problem. And when you are focusing on solving a specific problem that you care about, it's much easier to align everything else and to figure out what are all the decisions, what are the things that you should be learning or studying about, or the areas where you should focus in your career. If you are just blindly trying to guess, it's much more difficult. But if you have a specific problem that can help as a guiding North Star or something like that, I think that can clear a lot of the doubts and also help with a lot of the motivation for you to just keep going in the direction that you will need to be going. I will think, but I don't know.
I would say the AI agent is vibe coding or augmentative coding. It's like the developer's amplifier. And if some experimented developers can use the tool, and the AI can make you so powerful. Yeah. And so in the short-term market, we will see the A+ developers eat up the opportunity from the other developers. But we need to consider another factor. We know the AI agent can make the cost down of the developments. So right now, many company, many product or many project that won't affordable now, but it will become affordable later in the future. So in the long term, I think the opportunity will go up again. Yeah, but I don't know how long with it. Yeah. 加油.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks all for sharing the insights. I want to follow up this question a bit more. I will get to the vibe coding later. This will be another hot topic today. But before that, one thing is three of you actually all mentioned about patient. But the fact is the industry's position is just declining here. That's the fact that even I have a patient, even I try to do something like I like to do, but there's no role, no job position. And that basically, I would say, makes people feel anxious. That's even I'm likely it a lot, but how should I do a bit further to secure my opportunity to the job market? Any of you can respond to this.
Why didn't you say something? No, I have to take it. No, I think that in many cases is is very daunting to see, like, oh, who's giving a job for the type of stuff that I want to work on. But in many cases, if you just you figure out what is the thing that you would like to solve, independent of if there's someone giving you a job for that specific task or not. But you say, like, okay, I would like a product that solves this type of thing. And there's actually no product doing that yet. And it's like, why is there no product doing that? Why is not someone trying to solve this? You can just like try to start just like doing it yourself. And like now also with all the power of AI, you can as YC was saying, it's like it amplifies your powers. So now you can build a lot of the stack yourself as a solo developer, and you could end up, I don't know, like building a company that ends up just hiring more people and like increasing the job market on your own, just because you are solving a problem and you are focusing on something that you would like to be solved. It doesn't necessarily need to be that there's a company hiring a position for this specific thing that you would like to work on. You could actually just start working on that and trying to figure out what is the right way to solve this specific thing. Also, when you are, when you are working on something and you are talking about it and you share it in blog posts or you create open source, there's a lot more eyes on you and the stuff that you are working, and it will also help and make it easier for you to find a job. That is the objective. But for example, like many of the big companies end up hiring the people that are coming to help and contribute to their open source projects. So if you are super passionate about some machine learning library and you just go there, go to the repository, try to help in the repository, try to answer questions and try to help review the PRs, there's a high chance that that company or another company that is also using that open source tool will come to you and say like, hey, well, this person has a big expertise in this area. Come and help us and come and join us. So it's a strange that is like, I guess like the other way around is not like going to the job market and see like what are the available positions, but showing your skills in different channels that are not necessarily super obvious, just like going and calling a recruiter, but just like showing that you can do that work in different areas and like trying to solve different things that then can make you more attractive for the job market. But in the end, you might not need it because you end up just building a company and hiring a bunch of other people. But, I think that's a way to try to work around the system. I would think it's like a hot fix. Yeah.
About the job opening, job market, I want to say, let's see a situation. Like, is this a real worse situation than in human history? Like, we have a dot-com bubble situation early 2000, and we have a Lehman Brothers around 2008. That every time the tech company does not close their job market, and every time, and then there's also truth that when around the early 2000 or 2008, the job market is slightly different than from like 2020. So because like engineering market has always changed their demand. So like what you can do is like you can be just evaluate yourself to be comfortable with new trends. So that's what you can do. But what you cannot do is like you cannot make any job market right now. So if you love engineering, like just stay and just find a chance that not just for title or like if you want to go to like Google or big tech, I think that it will be difficult to find a job at this moment. But if you just love engineering, just find any chance you can stay and just keep patient. Then you will have a great chance that you will have. And if we record that early 2000 and 2008, like the popular company at that era and now is very slightly different. So even if the company at this one is very small, but after 5 years, who knows? Like best AI company can be a hugest company in the world. Who knows? Yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, I'd like to answer it from a more human-centered perspective because people know I'm from HCI. So I feel like imagine you're an animal. Like here, there's no grass anymore. You have to migrate, right? So right now, it's like the technical job is decreasing. And I think people need to evolve and adapt. It's very daunting, but if you look around, like Sebastian said, like you find problems, you feel the need, you can jump in to fill the gap. You can occupy a new like green grass field and start your own opportunities. So yeah, I feel like I can give you an example. So when I first went to the US to pursue my master in digital media, I didn't know there's any job opportunity. I didn't know there's UX designer. I didn't know there's data visualization. It was back in 2015. So those jobs are just starting to emerge. And so when I was looking for a job, it's difficult. But I feel like I just sticked with my passion. Like I want to design, create product. I didn't know there's a actual discipline in this area, but as you learn more and you start to interact with this industry, understand what the market needs, when the moment comes right, you will be able to stand up and fill the gap. So I feel like, passion is important, but also believe in yourself. You can always adapt, like you always do when you grow up. Like you have to adapt to a new class, new discipline. When you go to the introduction to computer science class, you don't understand anything, right? So now you know you can learn, and AI is here to help you learn even faster. So yeah, I feel like I'm quite positive on this note.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for more thing to add from Sebastian.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just holding the microphone.
Yeah, I think I will probably wrap up this question in this way. Python is the best guru language that can achieve a lot of problem in different domains. So that's definitely the really nice answer from all here is having your entrepreneurship ideas and find out the actual patient you want to solve the problem. And then you may have chance to just ignore this trending, but still focus on your patient. Right, but perhaps you may still have question to want to follow up even with these answers we provide just now. So feel free to ask that in Slido. We can follow up this in the end of this panel. I will move on to the next question set. I want to talk about the AI in academics because we have some people with academic expertise here. So given in, let's say, there's a famous mathematician called Tao Zishan, Terence Tao, highlights the challenge of AI faces in mathematics. But we also see like he's working on advocating to use AI in the mathematics domain. And plus, like we also see some related, for example, the IMO, the International Mathematics Olympiad. Both Google, DeepMind, and OpenAI got silver and gold medal respectively last year and this year. So this question is basically firstly for Tika. Could you provide us some of the example of potential AI breakthroughs within your field?
So I will first define my field because I feel like AI is like a really broad area, and like you all know, like GPT, LLM, they are evolving very quickly. Every couple of weeks, there are new updates and application. But I think in my field, it's more we call it human AI interaction. So basically, like AI is a new technology, new capability. We want to be able to make use of it, like helping people complete tasks. So those tasks could be image creation, text summarization, or even like 3D movie animation or world reconstruction. So yeah, this is broad field called human AI interaction. And I think in like today's talk, I share about like how we can use the human-centered design approach to basically treat this AI technique as anything else. So like when you have the mobile phone, when you have the data visualization, or you like have a interface, you use the same approach to deal with it. But it might be irresponsible to just answer that way. So I have two insights to share. I think the first one is there's a really famous paper called generative agents. So it's from Stanford. So basically they did a huge experiment trying to implement agents in a virtual world. So it's like a virtual community of all the AI people in the online village. And then they try to observe how they can perform and simulate like the real people. And what's surprising is they actually evolve and have some community interaction, like, oh, they host a birthday party for each other, even though they're just AI agents. So what we could learn from that is actually the future of the agents is we want to use that to simulate or understand what human can do. And then on the other hand, like using those, we can very quickly evolve or design the product, because we can now just use the AI agents to kind of test out our products and simulate like how people will do in the actual world. So yeah, that's the first thing, like how AI can actually help we evolve the technology even faster. And then the other thing is, I think right now, like most of the interaction, like when you use AI, is like a prompt in, a text out. So it's really monotone. Like you have to, if you ask them how to cook, it will just give you a full essay of, oh, you should put the egg first and add oil and whatever. But that's not the best way how people receive message or learn things. We learn things by watching the real video animation, doing like real people doing things. So there is another trend which is called generative interface. So depending on the knowledge type, you can produce an interface. For example, learning the piano, I just show you the actual keyboard and how the sequence of the notes translate down to the keyboard in an animation. Yeah, so I think there are a lot of groundbreaking or even the groundbreaking design and research in terms of the human AI interaction yet to come.
I want to echo to the Tao Zexuan. Yeah, and I as a AI researcher, I'm put many time to discuss with my AI agent. Yeah, and if I have some idea, I will discuss with the AI. And for the in the view of the AI research, and I think right now have the trend, and this trend is combine all of the AI job to the related to the language model. And for example, you know the narrow banana. Yeah, it's very different from the previous model. Previous model used a diffusion model, but the nano banana combined with the language model, and that language model is the Gemini, and it will be create a very magic behavior. Yeah, due to the language model have the very powerful semantic space, so we can utilize the space to create something interesting. So it's a trend of the research AI.
I want to follow up, please. Do you have any concrete examples in your domain, expertise particularly, product perhaps, like it's really use this kind of AI's innovation to break through something?
Okay, for example, in my recent job, I do some spoken language model with Hongyi Li Hongyi 老师. Yeah, and our work is trying to integrate the speech into the language model. Yeah, and we find that it's the intelligence of the content is keep the language model performance, and their voice also very smoothing, and it's based on the power of the language model. Yeah, and I was and then otherwise we can put some image into the language model, and also can create some incredible effect. Yeah, for example, in the previous years, we do the OCR, And we will find that if you change the little bit image, change the color, change the light, and your OCR model will be fail. But it's very robust if you using the language model to handle the image. And you just need a very few instances, and you can train a very good OCR model. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, before moving on, I actually want Donghee, maybe you can answer this as well, because you are basically you understand CPython holistically. Are you aware of any this kind of AI breakthrough in CPython development with large language model?
Yeah, this is a very good question. I think that the many of the open source project actually try to integrate the AI and for their development, because most of open source, maybe even fast API, they need more contributor, but maybe AI can help us. But like these days, the NC Python team also try to use the AI, but like they are very good at on our side the C Python code base, and even I sometimes have to handle the topic that I never touched. I ask the AI that what this code means, because like in C Python there's many code that need many context that I have to understand. So that's the current situation. But interesting fact is that there is still area that current AI does not handle the issue in the C Python. So sometimes I tried on specific issue that to AI to solve this issue in the C Python, but AI does not solve the issue of the C Python at this moment. But in the future, who knows? So I think that we just try to using. But at this situation, like it's help to understand the many topics or context that to make a more productive for C Python core devs.
Okay, I'm going to switch my question order a bit because Sebastian is so quiet here.
I'm holding the microphone, that counts.
Yeah, so Sebastian, I have a story to share with you. I spoke with a person from Rust community. He's like super experienced engineer, and he used Flask instead of Fast API to solve some of the problem Fast API can solve. And he's from Rust community. He understands nothing related to Python. Why he used Flask is simply just because the large language model returns the Flask code. So the question here is that with this kind of large language model, these AI trends, what do you recommend for their open source project? How do they, I would say, overall navigate this trend and promote their project? And specifically, maybe you've heard about a thing called GEO. SEO was the thing called search engine optimization, and now we have generative optimization engine. Generative engine optimization. And so I want to see maybe if you have any insight about this kind of thing for other maybe upcoming popular open source solutions.
That's a good question, and I don't have a good answer. I know that many large language models suggest using Fast API. I guess like sometimes it will probably suggest Flask. I know that many of them are actually built on top of Fast API. So I guess like just the fact that it has like a big scope of instances where it has seen Fast API, so it's like has a lot of, I don't know, like items in the distribution of the data set that they use to train it, then like the model will be able to just like show more of that, which is strange because then that also means that the model will end up just encouraging people to keep using the same thing and not trying new things. But that's also not only happening in, like with AI, it also happens when you are, I don't know, following someone on X or Twitter. Like it's more common that the people that are being followed the most are the ones that end up being followed the most. Like it's like this very, very steep, long tail phenomenon where the thing that is the most popular starts becoming more and more popular, but that is also not necessarily only for the AI, I guess, generation. I know that there are also like some approaches and some ideas that some people have been trying to push forward. Like, for example, I know that I think Jeremy Howard, the guy that created Fast AI, which is not Fast API, I think he was the one that was promoting having LLMs.txt that will be comparable to robots.txt, that is just having like a plain text version of all the documentation, just so that the LLMs can fetch that and like get all that information and like integrate it into their model or things like that. I haven't played with that yet. For now, my focus has been on having, like the best documentation possible that I can have for humans. Like my first objective is humans, but then in the end, this is the same. It's just all text. So the LLMs can also like capture all that information and can also like process that. Maybe there are ways to improve the I don't know, generate the optimization of content so that they can say more like how to use Fast API, or maybe how to use like proper best practices of how to use Fast API with the modern ideas. But for now, I guess it's like working fine. I think probably one of the things that is important the most with AI and LLMs in general is to keep the personal criteria and like like self-determinism, being able to just like have your own judgment of like, is this actually useful or not? Is this output useful or not? And being able to just like see what the LLM is telling you, being able to understand it, and being able to also go to the docs and read like, is this actually correct or not? I think that is super important. It was important before the AI. It was also important with Stack Overflow. Copy pasting from Stack Overflow ended up being problematic without checking what the content was. So I think it's that will also always keep being like important to keep, like the own criteria, the own capacity to understand and learn and like figure out if this is actually correct or not. But yeah.
Anyone want to add anything? Okay, YC, I want to follow up the Sebastian's answer for you. I think because you have some expertise in this domain, one thing is like sometimes it could be the model is not smart, or it could also be your prompt is bad. So from Sebastian, what he said, it looks like you need to be able to ask a bit follow-up question for the model to tell them what else option I have. But what's your take on this? What do you think? Do you think like is model should actually provide this for you eventually, or any sort of future vision you have for these further thoughts on this problem?
I think right now the AI agent is powerful enough, and some people might think AI cannot help in their project. But I think they are the main reason is they are expect the AI too much, and they think the AI can read their mind and so-called tonglin. Yeah. But it's not about just the AI how smart. You need to let the AI know your requirements. AI cannot know what you want to build if you don't provide a well-done definition. So my suggestion is try to construct the well-defined context for the AI agent, and it has a term is a buzzword. Yeah, context engineering. Yeah, you can Google it. Yeah. But how to provide the well-defined content for AI agent? Maybe you can create some PRD, product requirement documentation, or you can also provide the user story for the AI agent, and maybe you can provide the system architecture diagram, virtual diagram. Yeah. And some of developers will create some unit tests or integration tests to make the AI to reference. And in the last night, I have a meeting, and some of share some developers share their idea. They also provide the value cast into their repo, and like the AI agent can reference it. So all of those technology, all of those method is trying to provide the AI agent a good context. So I think that nowadays developers need to learn how to provide a good context and cooperate with AI agent. Thank you.
Okay, good. So to follow up this, I'll move on to the next question, because context engineering here means that we need to provide context, and a lot of people write prompt today for what's called vibe coding, and it's actually a super top answer from their nice speakers we interviewed yesterday. And so what here I want to ask is, in fact, the YC here is the founder of the Open Vibe developers. That's so it's a responsibility of. For my question for you is like, what would you offer engineers on adapting to the evolving landscape of the vibe coding?
Pardon?
So yeah, you are the founder of the Open Vibe developers. What advice would you offer engineers to adapt the vibe coding?
Okay,
world?
so the first one is try to provide a good content, and then you need to change your original habit of the development. Because if you cooperate with the AI agent, you need to try to resist. You want to coding, yeah. And if you want to coding, you can hit your head and so no, cannot do it. Just chat, yeah. So so this behavior, this habit is very different from our previous experience. So you need to change your habit and learn how to cooperate with AI agent. Yeah.
And to follow up this with maybe Sebastian and YC, do you foresee this vibe coding world leading to more or fewer opportunities for their product innovation, particularly?
Yeah. I will say that it will lead to many more opportunities, because now there's a lot more people that can learn enough programming to understand if it's correct or not, and they are now able to build an entire product on their own. People that don't know how to code and that are, I don't know, allergic to code, I will think will probably have a hard time, because at some point they will find a bug that is just difficult to figure out without understanding the error. And the error will tell you like, trace back most recent call last, blah, 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 blah. And then at some point it will show like, here's a problem. And if the person is not able to understand what is the problem, what needs to be solved, that is very difficult to overcome just by asking the AI to keep trying things, because the AI might end up just like trying many different strange things.
Can I interrupt it? Can you give us some specific example that is some people has an idea and then now it's become some products because of these new trends? Yeah,
like I was recently at the version of the Google I/O conference that they do one version of that in Berlin, and then they had like this, I don't know, like it was like an inner meeting with a bunch of vibe coders that were like AI influencers and things like that, but that were not necessarily programmers. And a recurrent question that they had was like, I am not a developer, but I have been vibe coding this app, and I sometimes get stuck and get so frustrated because I don't know how to solve it. And like that was like something that a few people just like kept struggling with that without being able to understand what is the error, like the software error, and like being able to understand the code is much more difficult to make like sustained progress. So that, and like, yeah, of course, like you can also read online that sometimes people struggle with like keeping the pace and making the product like be robust enough to be useful for everyone when they cannot figure out how to actually solve those errors and those problems. But I think for people that can know at least a little bit about programming and that can understand a little bit what is the code doing, then it's just like a superpower and they can just like build so much more. I think, I don't know, like if you have ever played with AI tools and just like trying to make, making a front end, if you are not a front end developer. For example, for backend developers, now making front ends is much easier. They can now center divs without being experts in front-end development. That was centering divs was something that was reserved for only front-end developers know how to achieve that because it's so difficult to manage CSS. But now with the LLMs, you can just like iterate a little bit and you can understand what is the output and then you can make something that will make sense at least and that can work. So I feel there's going to be just a lot more products built by one single person. So there are many more products that can be built. And as long as we don't have like like we as humans have problems everywhere. So there's so many potential products that can be built. So I think like there's a lot of space for building more and more applications.
Yeah, I think that echoes like even though the engineering precision is kind of declining now, but the the skill set is still required to vibe coding well, right? How about you, Tika? Do you have anything you want to add on this?
Yeah, I use vibe coding a lot because doing research, I need to showcase the prototype, but I'm not like a full stack developer. So sometimes I think before AI, before LLM, I spend a lot of time on Stack Overflow. And sometimes if I have to code Unity, like C#, it's like a very unfamiliar code for me. I have to spend hours looking through YouTube videos and trying to look up the Stack Overflow and try one by one. So I think I benefit from vibe coding the most. And something I noticed is that even though now the AI do most coding, I feel the skill set that I still need and rely a lot is debugging. So when I do prototype, I took a step-by-step approach. So I would first, for example, if I want to let's say I want to create a dashboard with a table and a video, I will first try to load the data and then show the the raw data set, and then try to create a bar chart and then try to connect it to the video. For example, there are 3 steps. So now I feel like breaking down that to step by step and then feed those tasks into the agent, the AI, is helping me to do checkpoint. So like I kind of treat the AI as an intern. Like you need to tell them, all right, first do this, and then if I think it's okay, and then you can ask him to move on to the next part. So instead of ask them to be the expert, be someone who can code the entire system, you try to tell them and break down the task. And I feel like it can first help you. You can keep your advantage because now you are the manager, right? And then second, it's helping you communicate with this AI effectively because you have those checkpoints, you know when and where the things go wrong. Yeah, so yeah, those are my 2 cents. Thanks.
Okay, we have like almost 50 minutes, but I have one last question before accepting those Slido questions. The PSF grant program post was a news announced recently. And last year, the George Kerr, the keynote speaker in Taiwan, wrote one article about her concerns around the AI companies drifting away from the community, funding-wise, sponsorship. And so, question for Donghee now. From your perspective as a community lead, what action can we take to move forward?
Yeah, it's a tough question. So, yeah, like that's true that the sponsor itself is decrease in these days, and I don't know what's the best solution we can have. But like what we can just say is that so just we hope that the more AI company just participate in a more community, and I cannot specify a specific company name, but the AI company try to contribute the open source project in their way, but it's not fun. So I'm not sure what's the proper answer, but we need to find a way. Yeah.
The question wouldn't end here. Sebastian, it's your turn. Like I think like in open source domain, I found out a lot of companies they start to post fix some AI thing in their product, like a Pi something AI or some of their solution and dash AI. And so, what's your take on this kind of thing? Like, do you also need to do this kind of thing to attract the companies, attract the people still fund your projects?
I have to rename my project to Fast API. Now I'm riding the wave of AI. No, I don't know. Like I feel, I mean, I understand that some people will want to ride the wave of AI and try to build something in that space. And of course, it's like a new set of capabilities and a new set of potential tools that can be built that can be very powerful. And sometimes, because it's such a new field, there are many things that can be built that are not built yet. And there's like a lot of opportunities there. That is true. But like, like in my case and for the things that I am building, I have been building things that are just like focused on solving specific problems. So when I built Fast API, many of the products that I was working on before had to deal with some type of machine learning or data processing systems or the distributed systems, things like that. So it was always sort of related to AI and machine learning, but it was not necessarily just for AI and machine learning. But the thing is, it was just trying to solve a problem that was there that ended up being useful for many of the AI people, just like trying to solve how to build APIs. And then many of the AI companies ended up just like using Fast API, but it was just focusing on building that specific problem. It was not like that I was making a very conscious effort to make something that was adjacent to AI or something like that. I was just trying to solve what is the problem that needs to be solved there. There are many things that I have seen that I feel like it would be nice to have a better way to solve some particular problems. Some of those are related to AI, and I feel like, okay, maybe this area could be improved. And then in those cases, I think it makes sense to, work on that space. But I personally don't think that is necessary to rename Fast API to Fast API.
All right, so we have 12 minutes for. I'm stopping here, so it's all question from audience. First one I want to take from Slido because it's already got 8 votes here. It's in Chinese, but I'll try to translate it in English in my way. Hopefully, it's really interpreted right. The question is like some company paid their employee to develop the open source. But for example, last year and actually this year as well, different company announced the news to lay off their internal funding for those people who develop those open source. And so is the whole environment changing now? What's your take on this? I am not sure who can answer this honestly. Maybe Donghee?
I think that this question is definitely about the CPython and investor CPython and Microsoft, and that's true. I think that the economic crisis is definitely a fact to the CPython project, but what we try to these days, we are try to independent from such situation, and even for the faster CPython, most of people they leave the Microsoft these days, but they still try to transform the project to the community driven, and that it might be a little bit spoiled for tomorrow's keynote, but we have a weekly meeting named Chips, like CPython implementation, hacking, blah, blah, blah. And many people that ex-Microsoft people or Meta or one side, people are joining the meeting and we discuss about how we can make C Python faster. So I think that, so forward funding, that's true, it's tough, but we will keep continue to make a C Python faster in community way. That's my answer.
I think that's sufficient for this question. I want to try to open some live question. Anyone want to ask anything? No? Okay, then just continue the top question from the audience. Right. Okay, so this is kind of very general thing. It's like a Stack Overflow. Sebastian mentioned, and I think we all used it before. The usage is kind of declining hugely back to basically the time few years ago. The time is still not popular. Even in the future, it could not exist. So, do you think like without this kind of forum, when a new technology appear, AI can learn it properly, answer the new things? It's probably the answer. The answer is okay. YC, you want to answer first? I feel like Sebastian, you may be a good one to answer this. So, for example, let's say you develop a new open source. Let's say the Fast API AI, and then someone has a kind of usage issues and in before maybe they're asking Stack Overflow and someone answer it and the AI model can learn the thing from there. But now it's like there's no such a foreign. What do you think the future will be like?
It's interesting because also like in many cases, people don't necessarily come and ask like what are the things that they want or what are the things that they need, or when they ask, it's not necessarily very clear what is the actual problem. In many cases, it's very difficult to figure out what is the actual problem that they are dealing with, and in many cases, it's not even related to Fast API, even if they come to the Fast API GitHub repository, and in many cases it's just something related to another package that they are using, or like similar things. So it's sometimes a bit difficult to navigate what are the things that people are needing and what are the things that people are using and what are the new features that need to be added. I think like for me also one thing that has at least helped drive like the direction of what else needs to be built is that I myself, I am a user of Fast API. I keep using it all the time. Like I actually built it for myself. So I also realized there are many things that I would like to improve a little bit here and there. And that also helps guide a little bit the direction of the project. Also, because I have been working on Fast API and the things using Pydantic and Typer, I ended up getting a bunch of context from different areas. So I know that there are some problems that could be solved in some specific way that is not necessarily that obvious at first, but because I have been able to play around with so many of these things, then I end up having a little bit of extra context that helps me figure out how to tackle some specific problem, which in the end is similar to an LLM, like just having extra context helps to be able to solve more stuff.
Okay, I hope this answer satisfies this question who asked. Next question. If we hold the same panel 5 years from now, what new AI challenge do we think we will be discussing then? I want to put this question for Chika because you work for the 663 people team for 5 years, right? The keynote you mentioned. So another 5 years, what challenge will we have?
So in the last 5 years, I've not really AI, but I work on using AR, VR, like this new technology to solve like data analytics problem in sports. I mean, so I feel like specific for AI in the 5 years. So I think one interesting perspective is when we talk about AI, we treat it as a one thing, huge thing, but it's actually we need to break it down. Like, for example, when you talk about transportation, it's airplane, it's car, it's bicycle, it's different things. So I think AI is the same thing. When we talk about its impact on the human industry living. It could be on the health, it could be on the science and many things. So I think because I'm come from science background, I feel like one very critical challenge there is actually how do you create new knowledge that's trustworthy? Because right now there are many people who use AI to generate fake paper. And if we build upon those fake paper, it's like it's destroying human knowledge and civilization. Because when I do academic research, I try to build upon previous people's work. And there is assumption that those knowledge before are true, are trustworthy. But yeah, if in the future we no longer distinguish between right or wrong information, and more people who just blindly trust AI for whatever output they are given, I think that would be a really critical crisis. So I think maybe in 5 years, if I'm sitting here or somewhere talking about this, I feel like it's definitely worry about what should we learn and then what should we believe in. So it's kind of existential crisis thing.
Anyone have anything to add? This is a quite general question, so if you have any futuristic idea, you can.
But I don't want to talk about 5 years, but maybe 1 year, 2 years. Maybe it's about vibe coding. It's not about C Python, but I lead the team, 5 members, and we are using the AI code to every day, and we even delegate code review to the AI. But the problem this day is people don't clean up their code that are generated by AI. So as the senior engineer, I reviewed the tons of the PR, and now I can distinguish this code is generated by AI. It's kind of very stressful situation as the senior. So my question is, what is the best way to collaborate AI, even if we leverage the AI tool? So that will be the first challenge for the current engineering team. And for the junior, so it is also connected that what kind of value can junior engineer show than AI, not just generating code, but better value. So I think that's the maybe confront challenge for me. Yeah.
We have 3 minutes to go. There's one question that attracts my eye. I think junior software engineer positions are decreasing while senior roles are increasing. Maybe because AI empowers more people to build. What defines a senior developer now? I would say YCU may be a kind of good person to answer this. At least stand on the local industry perspective. How do you think about this new word, new norm?
New norm. It's quite difficult. Yeah, and I think yes, in the short term, we no needs so many junior developers, but some of the junior developers, maybe you can use the vibe coding or augmentative coding to create your new things. Yeah, to a new job start up. It's another opportunity, I think. Yeah, and yeah, I don't have a very good intuition. Yeah.
Anyone want to redefine the meaning of the senior, maybe?
I think one important difference between a junior developer and a senior developer is that a junior developer makes mistakes, and there's a lot of things that the junior developer doesn't know and worries a lot about that. And the senior developer is the same but doesn't worry about it anymore because it's just used to not knowing and making mistakes, and it just happens all the time to all of us. And it's kind of funny because the junior, the only difference is that he's worrying too much and like being very stressed, and the other one is just like, well, yeah, this shit happens. But I think like the important key is to like not be afraid of that and putting all the effort into solving whatever was the error, whatever was the problem, and learning whatever is the thing that you need to learn to be able to keep working on that. I think one specific skill that is very important for senior developers, one skill that I admire a lot, and one thing that I think this person is very senior is when the person says, I don't know. When the person is capable of admitting that doesn't know something and that can go and learn something, that is like, oh, this person probably knows about other stuff. But when someone always has to say something and appear as if they knew everything, that is like, oh, I don't know, I feel it's very dangerous. But being able to just keep persisting and being able to learn. I think being able to learn is much more important, even more now, than knowing a lot of stuff. So being able to learn and being able to learn on your own and being able to just like persist and work on your own until the task is solved, I think that is super, super important.
All right. We are on time. And I hope the keynotes here and those panelists here provide a great insight for you. And we can follow up this with them maybe after this panel discussion. So I want to give an applause for all the panelists. Right, thank you.